Hey, it's Kat from Fit Kitty Tries, and as you can already tell, this is a different video than the kinds of videos I usually make because we are in a lovely garden. I'm on vacation, so this is my chance to let my hair down and have a little chat with you about mindset and motivation. Just because I've been on vacation and I've had time to reflect by taking morning walks, work on my habits, and work a little bit more on my other channel. If you don't know, I have another channel, Stronger with Kat, where I do fitness and motivation and yoga and stuff like that. But today I want to talk about how that relates to being an entrepreneur and running your own business. But before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed and let me know what you think of this video at the end. Do you want to hear more about me and my personal life and mindset and motivation? Or would you rather just hear about the hustles, how to do them, tutorials? I'd love to know what you think. So I'll be going home to Vancouver in a few days, and that means going back to teaching fitness in person. So I run my own business and do my own classes in Vancouver. And like being self-employed and so many other different business ventures and entrepreneurship things that I do, it's super rewarding and super demanding at the same time. So a lot of the reason why I'm here is because I kept asking myself when I was working at a company, what if I put as much effort as I'm putting into this job, into myself, into building something for myself? I get to reap way more of the benefits, because at a job, you might get paid for your performance, but generally you get paid whether you do your job 10 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. And all that effort and energy, I mean, it goes towards a paycheck, but at the end of the day, if you lose your job, what do you have, right? Sure, you've got some skills, but I prefer to build a much more sustainable income. And one thing people really struggle with is job security. This idea that by having a job that offers benefits, that offers a regular paycheck, it's somehow more secure than going out on your own. And it is scary to go out on your own. And I don't recommend just quitting your job right off the bat, which I actually did. And then I ran out of savings and that was stressful. But that was me betting on myself and it worked out totally fine. But at the end of the day, if you lose your job, you don't have any more income. So one of the things that I talk about on my blog is diversifying your income. There is nothing more important than diversifying your income. And I love it because I used to do university part-time and work part-time. And I loved it because when I didn't want to be doing university, working looked a lot better. You know, the grass is greener. And when I didn't want to be working, studying looked a lot better. And I had that balance of never getting sick of what I was doing. So it's nice to have that variety. Unfortunately, that was hard to carry into a professional career since generally they want you to commit to a full-time job. But after doing that for a few years and putting lots and lots of energy and my time into building something for a company that ultimately ended up not being valued or the project didn't go forwards, I realized, what if I just put all this energy that I'm putting into my work, into myself, to build myself my own income? So that's really where Fit Kitty Tries comes from. It's me trying all these different ways to make money. I do have some consistent money-making ways that I do with Stronger with Kat, but this is me trying to continue to build on that income. So in regards to going back to Vancouver and reaping the benefits of what I'm doing, which is how this conversation started here, I noticed that when I promote myself, when I promote my classes, I get more people coming. And so I was getting ready to do that. I use Facebook groups to promote my classes. I don't use any paid methods because that would cut into my profits way too much. I saw other people posting their classes and what they're doing. I paused to ask myself, like, why am I doing this if so many other people are doing it and they're super successful? And so I was asking myself, like, why should I post? Why would people want to come to my classes as opposed to somebody who's more skilled, somebody who's more knowledgeable, older, whatever it is? Why would somebody want to come to my class? I'm just one person running a class once or twice a week. It's a small group. I don't have a big following. Why even bother? Was kind of where I got stuck. And I reminded myself that no matter how small and no matter where you're starting, every single one of us is unique. And that's what we have to offer. So even with doing things online, like, for example, having this YouTube channel, there are a million entrepreneurial YouTube channels out there. But what makes mine different is that it's mine. It's me, right? So the affirmation I was repeating as I went on my morning walk was, I am unique and special, and that is my power. I am unique and special, and that is my power. And I repeat the affirmations 3 times. I am unique and special, and that is my power. Again, I wasn't a super big fan of these, your uniqueness is your power, or what makes you different is your superpower, or something like that, until I realized how it pertains to being an entrepreneur and starting from nothing and feeling small and feeling like the market is oversaturated. I hear that a lot with print on demand, like, oh, it's super oversaturated, or with Etsy in general. I'm on forums, I'm part of communities. I don't have my own community online, but I do participate in Facebook groups and Reddit, stuff like that. And I love replying to people just to let them know that because it's oversaturated doesn't mean there isn't a space for you. When we think about oversaturated, we're thinking from a scarcity mindset, that there's not enough. And as a yoga teacher, I get to have some of the benefit of working on my mindset and spending time on my other channel, sharing the philosophies of yoga and general philosophies that make it a lot easier to be alive and to be an entrepreneur, and what makes it possible for me to be this entrepreneur and to not have a steady income or reliable income at this point and continue going onwards is the mindset piece. So that's why I'm sharing with you today this mindset piece, which is that there is room for everybody out there. And what makes you special and different is what is going to draw people to your work, to your art, to you. And in the online world especially, there is room for everybody. And it's more true than ever online that what makes you different is your superpower or is your strength, because you have access to so many people and there are your people out there. It's a little bit different in person. Again, I was struggling with, do I go through the effort of posting my classes and building it up again, because I've been away for a few weeks, and momentum is super important. Consistency is important, just like building any kind of business, but especially in person, you need to show up for people so that they get in the habit of showing up for you. And online, it's more possible than ever to succeed at what makes you different. So if you're questioning whether or not you should get into print on demand, whether or not you want to sell on Etsy, whether or not you want to do any of these popular passive income streams or these popular side hustles or entrepreneurial pursuits, don't doubt yourself because you're just starting out. Don't doubt yourself because you see a lot of people already doing it, being really successful. For starters, what you see is not the truth. You know, when we look at somebody else, when we see their problems, when we see their success, we're seeing this much of the picture, of the entire picture of what's going on. And yes, there are stores on Etsy that are super successful and you can tell by their sales and all of that. But again, if you're operating from a scarcity mindset, entrepreneurship and being self-employed is just not going to work for you, because you really need the mindset piece to keep going, because it's really about that consistency, right? It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take you doing this and working at it and trying for a while and failing for a while before you're going to be successful. One quote that I've heard in the print-on-demand community that I really like is, you are one design away from your next bestseller. I'll say that again. You're one design away from your next bestseller, which is meaning that you're going to need to make a lot of designs. You're going to need to post a lot of listings, and you don't know which one is going to be the bestseller. In fact, sometimes I post designs and I'm like, this is such a great design. I'm so happy with it. I think this is going to be really popular. And then crickets, nothing, nobody even likes it. So it's a reminder that progress isn't progress isn't linear. It's not what we think it is. Progress kind of looks like this, and then sometimes it just shoots up and takes off, right? Or it shoots up and it's a flash in the pan and it comes back down. So it's a reminder to keep going, keep designing if you're doing print on demand, because you are one design away from your next bestseller. You don't know. And that next bestseller could carry you quite far with the print on demand world and that passive income and being able to resell products over and over. Like, you only have to create it once and then you can keep selling and keep seeing the benefit down the line. That's the whole idea of passive income. There needs to be a better word for that, because it's not actually passive. It's just like continuous income. I'm sure there is a word. Maybe I'll write a blog post on that. Another thing that I've been struggling with over the past week or over my vacation, whatever, I took this time off and away from Vancouver to get away and reflect, because my mindset was total crap. It was totally in the toilet. I was not motivated. And one of the things I struggle with is that I have so many different things on the go. And you might feel this way too if you are still working a full-time job, if maybe you have obligations at home, maybe you're a mom, Maybe you're working a full-time job and a side hustle because you need the money, but you still want to try and build up your own business or try these entrepreneurial pursuits. I sometimes wonder if I just focused all my time and energy on one thing, maybe I'd be farther along already, because I'm split. I've got different entrepreneurial pursuits on the go. I've got different money making things that I do. Some of the things like I have to do non-negotiable because I need to make time for them because at this point they pay me. So I need to do those things. But also just having so many different ideas and things on the go, it feels like, oh, if I had just spent like all my time and energy focusing on this one thing, like focusing all my time and energy just on print on demand, not making YouTube videos, not having a blog, I'd be so much farther along. And that may be the case, but I really believe that that's probably not true, because it's not like if you put more time in, you're going to be more productive or be better at it. At least not for me, because I'm a perfectionist. And so having extra time to focus on something and hyperfixating on something is not a good thing for me. In fact, sometimes when I make time to prioritize going out for a walk, going for a hike, spending time with friends, spending time in nature, the things that I like to do, I'm actually more productive when I come back to my computer and sit down. So that's just a testament to saying that if you feel like you're not making progress because you're not spending enough time or energy doing something, sometimes time and energy doing something is actually not your friend. And that sometimes there's such thing as, hitting a point where you cannot progress any longer unless more time goes on, because time is part of the learning process, the way that our brains work and develop. It takes time. It doesn't just take practice. Now, going back to my first point about being unique and special and that being your superpower, sometimes it feels tempting to copy, or it feels like you are copying when you go and look at what everyone else is doing and you realize, oh my God, I'm totally doing the same thing and it wasn't intentional. Two things on that. Firstly, when you are learning something, humans learn by mimicking behavior. That's what we do. That's how we learn. That's how we've learned everything that we've learned, especially from a young age. And that's, when we're children, we learn the best. It's easier to learn something when you're young. And a lot of that is because of how we learn as adults is different than how we learn as children. But what children do is they mimic. And that really helps you learn a lot of things. So sometimes when I'm designing, I will literally recreate a design I saw, not because I'm going to post it or sell it, but so that I can learn the skills and the process of that design, because I like that design. And sometimes I'll just recreate it so that I'm teaching myself those skills. Like, how did they make this design? How can I do that effect? Two things to note is that if you feel like you're doing the same thing as everyone else, that's not always bad, as long as you know why you're doing it. You're learning from it. You're not just copying it to copy them. And number two, to be successful, you've got to figure out your own spin, your own uniqueness, your own journey and path. And so that's why what I try to do is to teach you skills. Yes, you can copy these skills, but a lot of the time I don't give you the full picture. I give you ideas on what you can do, sort of like platforms in which you can jump from. Like, I'll give you different design tutorials on how to do something, and how you take it from there is totally up to you. And I have this when I'm looking at different designs or watching other YouTubes and they show me how to do something. And then once I've learned how to do that, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I can do this and this from it, or I have these ideas on how to do it. Like my Pinterest video, I showed how you can use Pinterest and Pin Generator to create passive income, and just how to use this tool Pin Generator. And from there, the end of my video, I was like, I'd love to hear from you in the comments about all the cool things that you're thinking about maybe you could do with Pin Generator. So the goal of my blog and my YouTube is not so that you can copy my journey and my success, because honestly, I can't guarantee that doing the exact same thing as me is going to work, because there's so many different factors, right? But what I want you to take away from that is the skills, so that you can learn how to do these things, so that you have more information to take with you and to continue on your own journey to find your own success. So I hope this video was at minimum interesting, at the most helpful. Maybe I'll start doing a bit more of this mindset stuff, more of these podcasts. But if you like that kind of thing and you like affirmations, you can go on over to Stronger with Kat. I'm a little bit more active on Instagram there, and I post on my stories sometimes when I'm having struggles and different things that help me in my struggles with entrepreneurship. But I do share some of that as well on the blog, less so on the YouTube, because I know the things that I need to show you visually translate better on YouTube as tutorials and stuff as opposed to writing them. But if you're interested in more of these mindset pieces, go ahead and check out the blog, fitkittytries.com. Make sure you sign up for email notifications on there. But also let me know by dropping a comment below if you want to hear a little bit more about my life, my world, and what's going on for me. But you can also check out Stronger with Kat for a little bit more of that. But I don't share too much on there as I do with Fit Kitty Tries about what's going on in the background. Fit Kitty Tries is sort of like my background piece. Fit Kitty Tries is really just the back end of all of those different businesses. So anyways, make sure you are subscribed. Go check out some of my other videos to learn some of those skills that I was talking about, and I'll see you in the next one.
Fulfill the